Welcome back to Brandywine Stitches. This is May 14th, 2024. This is Flosstube number 3, and as I've been trying to do, we've got wine. And yes, it says, I'm not spoiled. My husband just loves me. This was a Mother's Day gift from my lovely husband this past Sunday, because I'm not spoiled. He just loves me. Okay, so we've had quite a bit of progress in some things and very little progress in a lot of things. So we'll start with all of our cross stitching first. That way if you guys are not interested in my other side projects, you can skip on out. You don't have to stay. So if you remember from last time, my Whip-Go calls were for Jillalea, which was my German Shepherd baby, for Amethyst, and for, I said Pride. I had it marked in my Whip-Go calendar as, or my Whip-Go board as Pride, but the actual name of the piece is Avarice, or Avarice. It's Pride, basically. So I've only worked on one of the Whip-Go calls so far, and that was for Jillalea, because I'd already been working on her a little bit, and wanted to keep working on her some more. See if I could potentially get down to where her tail or her ears start. So this is what she looks like. This looked like. This was her. She loved the snow. So this is where what she looks like. And then if you remember from last time, this is about where we were at. So at that time we were about 3% done with her or something like that. So I've been working on her quite a bit. My called for was for 500 stitches, but I ended up doing 900 stitches. So as you can see, like my 10 by 10 diagonal blocks. So I ended up starting here, and I think I just went down, and here was about 500, and I was like, you know what, let's just keep going, see if we can get to her tail. Her tail is actually going to end up like right here, so I've got to do like another line. I can't do this. Line or two of diagonal blocks before I can actually get to her tail down here. So she'll get some more love eventually, but she has had more than her called for stitches for May. She got 900 stitches, so now she's officially 4% done. It's gonna be big, but I'm gonna love it. So officially 4% done on my German Shepherd Jillalea. And then my other two, Amethyst and Avarice or Pride, I haven't touched them yet. I'm going to start working on them tonight. I might work on Avarice first so I can get her done, and then work on Amethyst, maybe keep working on Amethyst. But I've got a couple other things that I would like to potentially work on. So we'll see. Sorry, it's been hot and cold here, so my nose is a little bit drippy. So I'm not sick, I promise. It's just our weather here in Michigan can't make up its mind, and wait 5 minutes and it'll change again. So, but I promise I'm okay. So May is usually when people will start either 30 new projects, one every day in the month of May, or they'll do like some exorbitant amount of stitches, like 1,000 stitches a day on whatever project or a certain project or whatever. I did Mania starts last year, and that's how I got myself into the mess I'm in currently with 30 plus huge projects. So I didn't really feel like doing a bunch of new starts. There's not a lot of small things that I like. Most everything I like is big projects. So I didn't really want to do anything small. Nothing that I had really called to me, or I didn't have like 30 new small projects to start. I didn't have the funds at the time to go buy 30 new small projects, so I just didn't do Mania starts, and I don't have the time to do 1,000 stitches or some crazy amount of stitching every day. I'm a mom of 2 kids, one's 7 and one's 3, and I'm a full-time licensed vet tech, and that's a lot of time that I don't get to myself. So I am lucky if I can get like 200 stitches in every night before I go to bed. And that's lucky. Sometimes it's only like 70 to 100. If I'm lucky, it's like 200. So I definitely wasn't going to be doing anything crazy like 1,000 stitches a day. Now, if I take the month of May off and both of my kids were in school, certainly that would definitely be an option. Not an option right now. So I was like, I'm just not going to do anything for May. I'll figure it out in the future. It'll be fine. And then I was watching, I think The Runner Stitcher is another Flosstube that I've been really into recently. And he and his friends are doing a Mira-May. So they're going to work on a Mirabilia project every day in May. Well, I've only got the one Mirabilia, the Lady of the Flag. And I was like, well, why not work on her every day in May? So I have. Some days it's only been like 2 stitches. Some days she's gotten like 300 because that's what I worked on when my son was napping and then before he went to bed at the end of the day. So I did quite a bit on her. So this is where we saw her last time, and this was a last minute decision, so I didn't take a picture of her beforehand, so I had to do the thing I said I wasn't going to do and go back and screenshot my last video. Sorry. But I've got pictures of the other 2 before I start stitching on them because I'm learning. So this is where we started. We're last time. Got a lot of folds in her dress done, but there's still quite a lot of empty space. And where I am right now is here. So as you can see, we've got a lot more down here in the dress, all finished. This is, I promise this is all stitched here and a little here. This is just cream and it blends right in with the Constitution fabric, which does make it very hard to stitch at night sometimes, if that's what I'm doing. So what I did for her is I kind of pick a color and I follow it and see where it goes, because Mirabilias are blocky, especially the Lady of the Flag, so I just follow the color where it goes. And I'm holding this awkwardly and I can't figure out how to recenter it. There we go. Sorry. This is all new to me. I'm still trying to figure this out. This is not second nature yet. So, we had a little bit of a dilemma with her that I almost stopped Mira-May on her. I thankfully am part of the Mirabilia Lady of the Flag cross-stitch group on Facebook, and I made a mistake. So it was somewhere here in this cream stitching. I didn't have it marked off correctly. And I got down with this stitching and I'm like, oh no, this isn't lined up correctly. I don't know what to do. And I panicked and I was like, I'm either going to have to rip this whole thing out and start it again to make sure that all of my stitching is done correctly, or I'm going to have to fudge it. And I don't know how well that's going to be done in blocky color in the folds of her dress. And so I reached out to the Facebook group and I was like, hey guys, threw a picture up of her and I said, hey, what would you do? I made a mistake here. I don't know what I did. I don't know how to fix it. Like, do I just fudge it, make it work? Or do I like rip the whole thing out and start again? And the unanimous response was fudge it. It's the folds of her dress. They're like, it'll be fine. You'll never even know. You'll figure it out. Or you'll fudge it and then only you will know. Because if anyone knows, they shouldn't be saying it anyways. And I was like, that's fair. I like that. One person's suggestion was to take a spot that you know is correct, start stitching there, and then stitch over to where you messed up. And that way you can kind of course correct. I love that suggestion. So I scanned my copy of the pattern into Markup RXP because it's so hard for me to do paper patterns anymore. So I scanned that into Markup RXP and I went up here because I started, this is the middle, and I started over here and I literally went down, had a needle here, and was moving my iPad stitch by stitch, by box until I got down. And I think I was like here. And I was like, all right, this lines up. This is perfect. Stitch this bit in. Got it over to where I was messed up over here. Everything was perfect. Nothing was wrong at all. What was wrong was that I didn't mark a line off in Markup RXP when I should have. And that's what threw me off. So everything was fine. So now I've been kind of like just following it down here. Right about here. You can't really see it, but I can feel it, which is how I know it's there. This is, if I bring it in there, okay, you can see it better. This is where some Krynek's gonna go for the leaves that are starting down here for the banner. That's gonna go probably down here. So we're getting close to the bottom of her dress, and then I'll just kind of work my way over and then start working up. I'll save the face and arm for last because I know a lot of people do 2/1 for the face. Is it 2/1? They do it differently. Instead of 2/2 for this, they do, I want to say it's 2/1 for the face because it gives a lot more detail. And I don't know if I'm going to do that yet. I feel like I want to, but I want to have most of her stitching done so I don't get dejected from it or dismayed. So I want to have most of her done so that way I can be like, okay, if I don't like the face or the way the arm is turning out in the skin, I can just take it out, keep working and not have to feel like I need to put her in timeout, because let's not put the lady in timeout. So she's going to get a little bit of stitching every single day for the rest of May. It may just be a couple of stitches. It may be a couple hundred stitches. We'll see. I do need to finish my other whip go calls first, and I want to get Labyrinth done. I'm really pushing to get that done, so hopefully I can finish that this month or maybe even early June, but I need to focus on getting Amethyst and Avarice done first for their whip go calls. And yes, you guys can see my awesome needle minder. Let me not shine the light on it. That is Wesley from The Princess Bride, and it says, if I can tilt it, it says "As You Stitch" on there instead of "As You Wish." That was a great Christmas gift from my husband. Yes, we all want more needle minders, and I was using basic magnets for a while, which not pretty. We want pretty things. So, Lady of the Flag. All right. Other than that, I've got not Nimbus chirping down here, but Pixel is chirping, if you can hear her. She'll probably hop up here. I think she's getting ready to. Here she is. Let me tilt. I can pick her up. So this is my black and white tuxedo cat, Pixel. She didn't make an appearance in the last couple of videos, but this is Pixel. She's got a very loud mouth. She's very demanding when she wants to be sometimes, but we're here for them. We love them. Okay, so back to the stitching. So last time, oh, speaking of Nimbus, she's down here. They're growling. It's fine. It'll be all right. Speaking of stitching, so I try to do some different projects. I have to do something with my hands when I need my brain to be engaged. Otherwise, I just zone out and I don't pay attention. So we've been doing a Harry Potter podcast with my friend and my husband. I almost said my friend and one of my other friends, but I meant to say my husband and one of our other friends. We've been doing a Harry Potter podcast. And typically when I do the Harry Potter podcast, when we're listening to the story, I'm working on my Supernatural car, Baby. But I didn't work on it in the last couple weeks because it's May. We have the first part of the Storybook Sal out. So I was like, I told you guys last time, I wanted to keep up with this as the parts were coming out. So it's the easy stitching for this month. So I was like, let's do it. So this is where the Storybook Sal is at. We got 368 stitches done. So for this section, she said it's a staircase. So for this section, we are at 27.2% done. So it's like a total of 1,300 stitches that I got to get done for the month, but pretty easy. See what I mean? Basic magnets. So that's where we got there. And I'm realizing I didn't tell you guys where we were at with Lady of the Flag. So Lady of the Flag got so far this month 1,128 stitches this month, and that puts her at approximately 14% done if I'm going off of Markup RXP. So that's where we're at with her. Sorry about that. So this, like I said, is a Storybook Sal. This is all one color. It's supposed to be a staircase in the middle of a bookstore or a library or something. So this was just easy one color stitching. It lines up evenly on both sides, even though it doesn't look like it's lined up here. I think I missed a couple of stitches. I'll go back and fix it. But it's really easy stitching. They're supposed to be even on the sides, so just follow one, copy on the other, and then just fill in the back. So this was really easy for me to just work on quickly while we were listening to the Harry Potter chapter before we did our podcast, instead of doing my Supernatural car. So speaking of Supernatural car, because that's all I've got for the stitching. For the Supernatural car, last time we saw it, and I didn't take pictures of the other projects, only the cross stitch ones. Last time we saw it, I only had the chassis painted, and I was trying to figure out where this front anti-sway bar was supposed to go. And so I finally cornered my dad, and I was like, listen, you gotta help me figure this out, because like the paper is not doing me any justice. I can't figure out where the heck this piece is supposed to go. Like, is it supposed to go on top of the chassis? Is it supposed to go under the chassis? I'm like, I don't know where it's supposed to go. And he's like, well, bring it here. He looks at it. It's supposed to go through the chassis. Your instructions were not clear. Please try again, is what I was thinking. Because it made it look like it was supposed to go potentially under the chassis, but then every piece has like a hole where the other pieces connect into. So it's kind of like a puzzle. So I didn't see any of the holes or anything for like where this would be connecting. So I'm like, I don't understand where this is supposed to go. So thankfully for my dad, we were able to figure it out. So if you look here, there we go. Actually, paper. So if you can kind of see this little tiny piece right here, that's the front anti-sway bar. Do you see how it goes through there? I'm trying to maneuver my hands and it's not going very well. Hold on. It goes through this little part right here. And then through the other side. And then it glues on to this part. I'm like, I never would have been able to figure that out if it wasn't for my dad, a car guy. Because there was no way. So I didn't get much done. I got the front part of this chassis done. I still need, this all needs to be painted in the semi-gloss black, so that way it's not the matte plastic black. So I got that done. So maybe next week when we're doing our next podcast chapter, I'll paint this. And then after that, I start working on the back of the chassis, so like where the rear wheels go. So that will be that. So we're making progress slowly but surely on the Supernatural car. If my stitching doesn't take over my other times allotted for it instead. And then my other project that I've been working on is, as you guys can see in the background, and you've probably been wondering about all video. Ta-da! I officially have 2/3 of the Titanic Lego ship done. Last time you saw it, I had the bow of the ship done and the first 2 funnels done. And then this section with the 3rd funnel, I just had the red and black frame of the ship. So I finished the superstructure and then I got them all connected. So it started with getting funnels 2 and 3 connected, and then we connected the bow of the ship to the middle of the ship. And then created its little pegs for the second part of the ship. So this is where we did. Now, we have D&D on Friday nights, and I usually work on this a little bit at D&D. So, sorry, I gotta sit up. So, when we have D&D, I'm usually working on this. When I got this, it came in a huge box, probably about as long as that table. And that's a standard 8-foot deep table by what? 3 feet? 2.5 feet? I'm not good at guessing measurements. But this is a standard table that you find when you need tables for something, like a banquet hall or something. So this box is probably about as wide as this table is. And it's about a square. So that kind of gives you an idea of roughly how big this box is. It comes with 3 separate boxes inside. Or the parts of the ship. It's broken into 3 sections. Each section has like 13 bags and its own booklet. And each bag is broken down into like 40 steps. It's literally, you take piece 1 to piece 2 and connect it. And then you connect pieces 1 and 2 into piece 3. It's broken down super easily, which is why I'm having so much fun with this, because I don't have to think too hard about it, and it's great. So I think I had 3 or 4 bags left in box 2, and we had finally had D&D after like a month of not having D&D, and I'm like, we're going for it. And I just blazed through the rest of it while we were playing D&D. Because I couldn't put it down. I was so excited. So now all I gotta do is the after the ship. Still don't know my directions on here. It's not second nature. So I still have to do the after the ship, which is that 4th funnel and the propellers and everything back here, and then put it together, and then she's done. And I don't know where I'm gonna put her, but she'll be done. I'll be so excited. So that's basically what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. Not much stitching, a lot of Lego building, and a lot of mental health. We still don't know. I still am waiting to have my appointment for, like, is it ADHD? Is it anxiety? Is it, like, depression or whatever? Me and my friends are leaning toward ADHD, and if that's the case, and I've had a lot of, like, the spiral, not the spiraling, but, like, the task paralysis that I guess is common. Like, I have a list of things to do, and I can't pick one task to start working on it because they all need to get done, but I don't know what to start with. And then I just sit and I end up doing nothing a lot of the times. So that's what I've been dealing with a lot the last couple weeks, along with some stress because I can't get stuff done. So I've been trying to be better to myself in getting those tasks done, so that way at the end of the day I can feel not confident. What's the word I want? I can feel content. That's the word I want. I can feel content when I sit down and stitch, or play a Mario game, or mess around on my phone. I can feel content that I did something. I did some cleaning today. I did some organization. My house looks a little bit better before I sit down and I have me time. So we're working on it. Every day is progress. So we'll find out. It's probably going to be another few months before we actually officially know what's going on, but we're headed in the right direction. We got an appointment next week to try and figure it out, and then we'll go from there. My newest obsession, after last week when I showed you guys the Valkyrie that I created on pick2pat.com with the artist's permission, was I found a bunch of pictures on Pinterest. Words are hard today, especially when they all start with P. I found a bunch of pictures, digital art on Pinterest that I'm like, this would be a beautiful cross stitch. It's all Sailor Moon, it's Titanic, it's Lion King, it's everything that I like. And I have just been making patterns. I don't know when I'm going to start them, if I'm ever going to start them, but they're what I want. It's when you look for certain patterns, you find like a lot of like the little characters that they just don't appeal to me. Like I want my cross stitch to be real digital art. And so all of this digital art that I'm finding, I'm like, this is great. I don't have any of it ready for you guys to see. Unfortunately, I didn't save any of the pictures to my thumb drive or to upload here. But I'll have that for you guys. Next week, we'll do a little run through of like, I think it's like 8 or 10 that I did, something like that. I'll show you guys. And if you guys happen to see them and you know who the creator it is, please let me know, drop a comment. Because like I said, these all came from Pinterest, so I don't know who, they all got repinned a bunch of times, so I don't know who the artist is, and I want to give him credit where credit is due. But I have a bunch of those. One of them I know, and I don't have it, and it's the one I really want to show you. We started watching Sailor Moon. Me and my friend have been watching it for like a year now. We watch it on Sundays, and we finally got to season 5, where she becomes Sailor Moon Eternal, where she's got the wings during her transformation. And I was like, I want that. I want that. I screenshotted the transformation sequence myself and made a pattern. And that's the one picture I don't have. I think I have all the others, but I don't have them ready to go. So we'll just show them all to you next week because I'm a nincompoop today, apparently. Let's see. So I made a bunch of different pick-to-pat patterns that will maybe never get done. Maybe when I'm 80, we'll see. Depends on, we're just going to push through. It'll be fine. Everything's fine. But I did buy 2 new patterns that I do have ready. I can show you. They're from a website called Inspire Uplift. Sorry. My girls are back there under the table having a hissy fight. They'll be fine. They're just trying to both be queens of the household, and they got to figure out who's the queen and who's not the queen. They'll be fine. Okay, so Inspired Uplift had some cross-stitch patterns that I had them saved on Pinterest. That Pinterest was like, hey, they're $3 off. They're normally $8, now they're $5. And I was like, ooh, $5. I think I can do that. So I found the Hogwarts crest in rainbow flowers, and I was like, yes. I don't have any good Harry Potter ones yet, so I had to get a Harry Potter one. So I have this one. Again, don't know if I'll ever stitch it, if I win. And debating before I start it, do I want to do it on black, or do I want to just stitch all the 310? Because that's a lot of 310 to stitch. Yeah, I started looking into getting a cone of 310 because a couple of the patterns that I created with Pick2Pat need a lot of 310. And then the other one that I bought from, it's Cross Stitch V Patterns, I'll put links, was this one. This is the princesses done in their historically accurate styles. And this is a collage that is made into a cross stitch pattern. And it's got 2 of my favorites. It's got Pocahontas and it's got Rapunzel. And it's also got Belle. She's a 3rd favorite. So I was like, sure, it's $5. Let's do it. So I was pretty bad. I bought a lot of things. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So the rest of this week, the next 2 weeks, the rest of this month, I need to finish my Amethyst and my Avarice called for numbers, which is my book of calls. 400 on one and 500 on the other. I'm going to do a little bit of stitching on Lady of the Flag every single day. And I'm going to try and get the Storybook Sal caught up so it's finished for month 1 before part 2 comes out in June. And then if I have any time left over, I think we're going to finish Labyrinth so that way I can say I finished something and I can officially start something new. So that's where we're at. If you can hear the nails clicking, here comes my Akita Kanji, the love bug that he is. Say hi, Kanji. Say hi, Dum Dum. Yes, he responds to Dum Dum. It's his Gigi gave him that nickname, my mom. Yes, yes. He's a lover. Alright, so I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to keep stitching for the night, and I'm going to try and get Amethyst done is my goal tonight. We will see you guys in 2 weeks. Make sure we got wine next time, because this has been Brandy Wine Stitches.